Excellent. On my screen. So for those of you who have I introduced the previous section, which was incident management and KCS. My name is Vasa Janali. I am a business process consultant with Choreo. And today's focus will be knowledge management. So this is day 2. We have problem and change tomorrow, and we had a slight change in the schedule. So we'll continue with service portal and service catalog on Monday. So focus today is knowledge. Now that most of you were in the previous session, does anyone feel like they need a refresher on the basics, or should we get started with the knowledge piece?
I'd go with the knowledge piece.
Sure. Some slides, and then we'll go directly in the tool, so I can show you both the end user point of view and then the fulfiller side for knowledge. So definition: knowledge management process responsible for providing consistent and accurate data, information, and knowledge to all other IT service management processes. And it acts, the knowledge base itself, it acts as a repository for storing all those articles. And then we have user knowledge base, and then we have the IT knowledge base. So in your instances, what you have configured for Lambda, you have the IT knowledge base that the fulfillers are using, and we have the publish workflow and the retire workflow, and they are both, they need approval. So again, it means that in order for an article to be published, it needs to be approved by a knowledge manager, and then the same thing for retirement. So before an article gets retired, it needs to be approved by a knowledge manager. Now, on the other hand, knowledge base, which is the end user facing, the flows that run behind those are instant publish and instant retire. That means that they can get automatically published without any approval. And then terminology around the roles that we'll be referring to throughout the demo. So the knowledge role can read, edit, and review articles. Then we have a knowledge administrator. They can manage the overall, the knowledge bases, and then the feedback, and then the criteria behind the knowledge bases. And then have the knowledge manager. They can define the categories, they can pin important articles, they can approve or reject any articles, and then obviously retire. I hear some background noise. You can mute your lines. Okay, a little bit on the knowledge workflows. This is out-of-the-box knowledge workflow that you also have configured in your instance. The article starts as a draft article that goes through the review stage. Then this is where the knowledge manager reviews the article, and then it gets published internally. So that means it's IT, or externally, and that's the end user facing knowledge base. And it would go through a 30-day pre-retirement. So it looks at the valid to date of the article, and then it sends a notification 3 days before. And then the knowledge manager makes the decision if the article will be retired or not. If it be retired, then it goes to the retired module. If not, then it goes back to draft. So it has to go through the iteration again of getting reviewed, and then it goes in a loop. States, again, we have the draft stage, so that's when the article is first created. Then we move on to the review stage, then the article gets published and then retired. So we only have a few stages for knowledge. I'm gonna jump into the demo. from the end user view for knowledge base, and then too much time on this, but I want to show you how it works on the back end, and then how the fulfiller sees it on the other end. So the end user would come in the portal to search for knowledge, and they can either type in the search box, or they could click directly on the knowledge base icon here, and able to view any articles that are available to them. So in this case, they have two categories of self-service and news. As you guys refine, add articles, those will be exposed to the end user, so they would have articles here to view. But then here, and then they would be able to view who was it authored by, how many views, and then they would be able to add their comments and rate the article. And feed into the fulfiller side, and the fulfiller would be able to view the feedback that was given by the end user. Now I'm going to switch to the fulfiller side. The fulfiller would come into the knowledge application, so they would start typing in the application navigator. And let me impersonate someone who has the knowledge role. So I'm going to impersonate Johnny. Since I have admin rights, I would be able to see more than any knowledge role. So if just logged in, and he's also a fulfiller, has the knowledge role, he would start knowledge to view the knowledge application. To create an article, he would click on create new. Show you a little bit of how the form looks, and then how these fields are used. When we come in here, first we select the knowledge base, and depending on the knowledge base, we get the category selection. In this case, I'm going to choose IT knowledge base, and then I'm going to choose a category. So I'm email. I'm going to short description. English would get defaulted to the day that it was. So once I click on submit, this should auto-populate the published date, and then the to date is a year after the published date. So there's 1 year, and 30 days before that, you would get a notification if this article should be retired or not. The in draft, so you would not be able to change the date of the knowledge article. The source field here, what this is that if the knowledge article is created from an incident or a task-based record, you could select that actually here. So come in here and select any task-based record. I'm going to leave that blank for now. If you display attachments, this will download your attachment. Here is where you would type the body of the article, and then you could click on this little icon here to expand it to full screen, and then back down to collapse that. Terms, you could use that as what we call meta tags, so you can enter in keywords, and then those keywords can be used to find articles easily. Go ahead and save this article. Down at the bottom, it would show if there's any approvals and knowledge feedback. So this goes back to the feedback that I was showing in the portal. If this was an end user article, feedback would show down here. What templating is that if you were coming here and filling out the incident category, subcategory, or any of those fields, the name you go ahead and create a new incident and you attach a knowledge article, this field would get auto-populated. So I'm going to show you an example of that later. Here, I'm going to go ahead and click publish. I'm going to click into this article. I see that my workflow state is in review. So since this is an IT knowledge article, it needs to be reviewed by a knowledge manager. I'm going to hold down at the bottom, and I see that either Rob or David needs to approve this article in order for it to be published. So I'm copy paste this knowledge article so we know to refer back to it. I impersonate David, so and get to my approval. You see that the article that we just created, state of requested, and I'll go ahead and approve. You can either approve from the drop-down or you can just click approve. So now the article is approved. I'm going to go ahead and impersonate John again so we can see how that workflow moves along from review to publish. Okay. I'm going to type in knowledge, or you can directly copy paste the knowledge article number that we created. You can see the workflow icon here, and we see that it has moved from review to published. We'll click to the article here, and we also see that the published date, which is today's date, is populated, and we see that the valid to date is 1 year later than the published date. So let's say Johnny decides that he needs to retire the article. You can click on retire, and one more thing before, if we scroll down, we do see that David has approved the article. Now you did notice that before it was 2 approvers, so whoever approves the article first, then the article is approved. You just need one approver to approve the article. So I'm going to click retire. And then if we click on our workflow, it says pending retirement. And go ahead and click into the article itself. If down, I do see that I need either David or Rob again to approve or the retirement of the article. I impersonate again David. And then go back to my approvals. I see that I have and waiting for me for the article to be or not. So it's ending retirement, and then I'm going to go ahead and approve the retirement of the article. Now to John's profile. Could you go to retired? And see that now my article is in the retired module here. And see that our workflow works as expected, and we see that for the publishing and the retirement process, you need an approval. Now the modules here. So we have the create new, we have the published. So articles would show up here. Retired, my flow. So this is when you flag an article. All displays all articles. Now these submissions, and I'm not sure if you will use this. This is more of creating draft articles that you might want to revisit in the future. Knowledge bases. If you click into this, you would see that we have 2 knowledge bases. Now, people that would be able to manage the access of these would be a knowledge administrator or a knowledge manager. So Johnny has, I believe he has one of those, so he's able to see these. A regular knowledge user will not be able to set any settings on knowledge bases. They will only be able to see create through all. Then if we click on feedback, this is where the knowledge managers would be able to view any feedback that would be coming from the portal. So for example, this feedback that I just submitted here. Same ratings. So the ratings that come through the portal would come in here in this module. the search log, and then the overview would be the dashboard of the knowledge articles and any widgets here that you can modify. So at this point, let me show you the incident templating functionality that we had in the knowledge article. To an incident and I click on create new. And let's say that I have already created that article and I have put in the incident templating fields in it. I'm going to go ahead and select a KCS article to attach to this incident. Let me find the one that I have put in the information. So you see that once I populated this knowledge article, these fields get auto-populated. So it says human resources, payroll, the impact and urgency are low. So any fields that you indicate on that knowledge form get auto-populated in the incident form. That's for ease of use for fulfillers, so they would not have to click on each one of these fields to fill out the information. So that's very useful. On any of the knowledge articles, and leave this page, you manage attachments and drag and drop any images that you may have, but you can also, when you're creating an incident form. So then if form, on the knowledge form, again, you can manage attachments, you can drag and drop, and you can also attach the body of the knowledge article. So you would be able to attach here. Then templating portion. If I missed anything else. Any questions so far? It's pretty straightforward, as long as you remember that for the IT knowledge base, it needs to go through a review process and then a retirement. So the manager would either need to approve or deny either one of those. And again, on the end user side, there's no approval or retirement of the article. It gets instantly published and instantly retired. Displayed a little bit of how the knowledge works in our session with incidents. So when we went into our incidents, we were using the KCS results. So that's the way where you're using knowledge, but you can also create knowledge. So for those of you that were not in the call, if you're creating an incident, start typing here. The case results would appear, and you're able to attach an article to the incident. So you would click on it, and then you can attach to incident and populate the KCS solution field. Now to also edit this article within the same form. So if you click on edit, you're able to come in here and change any of these fields and retire or update. Through this KCS results view and page, view information such as who was the author, how many times it was viewed, and how many times the article was used. So let me reload the page. Typing, we do see here that we have the knowledge base that it's in. So in this case, it's help or QA, the author, the date it was published, was it last modified, and then the use count and the view count. And you know that all of these articles are published, so they've gone through some kind of review before they're published. Important thing to look at is the ratings. but also the view count and the use count. View count, how many times the article was viewed, and then use count is how many times the article was actually used to an incident. So we want to pay extra attention on the use count, since that indicates that the article is actually useful and fulfillers have used it to solve an incident. So, I would pay more attention to the use count than the view count. Okay, any questions?
What is here? Like in the beginning, you said, right, knowledge base has two categories. One is for the fulfiller side, and one is for the end user side.
Yes, correct.
So can you just show an example, like which is only visible to the end user side and it's not visible to the fulfiller side, and the vice versa?
Correct. So let me. So remember when we first went to the knowledge bases here and IT, it says Lamb Weston IT Service Desk knowledge base. Knowledge one here. I'm going to go ahead and click on this, see what we have. We see that you guys, either some of this may be demo data, but I think you deleted it. These are all articles that only the end users would see. So let's go ahead and test this. So maybe we can get this knowledge article. Maybe the keyword.
It's not a bliss state, right? It's just the draft state. The first resolution complete.
For this one, or for these?
Yeah, so you're trying to test this, right?
Right. Well, ideally, we would want one that's published, because some of them can sit in the draft state, and maybe they just didn't push the publish button. So let's find one that is like this one. So test for B. It's an end user, and I'm going to go ahead on my home page.
You're in the prod side. Your other tab's in dev.
Oh, very useful. Thank you.
Thank you.
This KB shows up. Yep. So we see that B is here. So any knowledge-based article that would be under knowledge here, then it would only get displayed in the end user side. But in the IT knowledge base, then it would be only shown to fulfill and not the end user. You would only want to display the end user certain articles.
Yeah.
And?
Yeah. Thank you.
Sure. Questions? This is another thing when the knowledge manager or and obviously an admin, but a knowledge manager, they can come in here and they can they change the categories. They would have the right permissions to change any of these or change any of these settings in the knowledge base. But as a fulfiller, you would not have access to this. You would only have access to create articles and then view status within each one of these modules. That's it for knowledge. There's not much to it. It's pretty straightforward. If there's anything else that I can demo for you guys, I would be glad to, or if I can repeat any of the things I went through. I did notice that the works weren't running properly, so I don't know, John or someone else that Reno talk to, but now it's working, and then for IT, the articles should get reviewed and retired by a knowledge manager, so the workflow is working as expected.
All right, Basil, thanks for running us through this. Appreciate it.
I know that we ended kind of early, and there's not much to knowledge, to be honest with you. It's pretty straightforward. I know that once you guys start knowledge articles and trying to maintain them, there's be much more to it, but it's pretty straightforward. Anything else that I can demo for you guys, or I'll be glad to. Tomorrow we have product and change, and then on Monday we have service portal and service catalog.
Just can you show us how to create knowledge as an end user?
Knowledge article as an end user?
Yeah.
Sure. So I'll go back to my portal.
So please write.
So let me show you, let me see from this view how it shows up. I'm not sure how it's set up, but I do know from, I am in as Johnny right now. So it's this view, but if you log, and I'm Johnny here, I'm gonna go ahead and type in self-service and knowledge. So this is from the end user point of view. If you click here, you're able to click on one of these. Let me see. And create a click that and create an article. Any of the end users, so in this, any of the end users that are not using the portal, under self-service and click knowledge and create an article from this view. The thing is, I'm not seeing one here, and there should be one. So
this is the end user, right? So here there should be an option to create a knowledge base.
That's correct, but I'm not seeing it. So I'm going to follow up with some technical team and see why not. Because you can rate and add comments, but there should be an icon here that says article.
We've also had an issue for that and posted out for the team.
And who is?
This is Joni.
Okay, Johnny, thank you so much. There should be. Actually, you are absolutely right. That's what I was looking for, an icon for the end user to create one from the portal. Because this is from, I can log in here and they can only see limited things, and they can create one, but they should be able to create one from the portal as well. Okay. Any questions?
June, the recording of the day one will be available, the first?
Oh, the incident one, I have uploaded in Box, and let me follow up with Reynolds on that. I did pass it on to him, so I'll follow up on that.
Me again. I'll be sending that out today to everyone that is in the meeting invite, as well as the DXC folks. So. Okay, so you already received the recording? Yes, I did.
Okay.
I'll be sending that out today to everybody.
Okay, great. And I'm gonna stop this, and I'll send you this as well. I'll send to Reynolds. Let me go ahead and pause it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Have a great day.